Heretic is a 2024 psychological horror film centered around two Mormon missionaries attempting to go through a list of people and talk to them about their church's beliefs. When they arrive at the house of Mr. Reed, despite his warm personality and eagerness for discussion, it quickly turns out that they've arrived in a house of someone who wishes to deconstruct their entire religion and worldview, slowly horrifying and torturing them more and more as the night goes on. This film really is a very well made movie, having two protagonists that are quite relatable despite their Mormon lifestyle, and a main antagonist who is so thrilling not because of his physical intimidation or social power, but because in a short amount of time of talking he can make you confront everything you believe in and do things of your own volition. On top of this, you have a lot of research and care put into the main facts and beliefs of various religious systems, with the film making sure to have fair arguments going for both sides of the "is there a God" debate, not leaning too heavily to either side. The horror of the film mostly comes from the psychological horror of watching two girls slowly lose their composure and losing their minds as the night goes on, as Mr. Reed ramps up the debate. Although the film does do a good job of suspension and builds up to the few jump scares in the film to really make them impact when they arrive. On top of this, while there isn't a lot of gore, the stuff we do see is really disgusting and effective, such as the prophet's bloody throwing up, Reed pulling veins out of someone's arm, and someone's fingertip being cut off. Mr. Reed and the film in general has a lot of ambiguity to them, and as such there's a lot of different ways you can read into the film and still be correct about it. For instance, just how malicious is Mr. Reed? Throughout the movie, he comes across as genuinely trying to be jovial and upfront with his intentions, and even as the night progresses and things begin to escalate, he still tries to present himself as trying to help the girls confront themselves and decide if they still genuinely believe the things they believe in. On the other hand, we learn later that a lot of things that we believe to be acts of God or supernatural horror turn out to be the trick of the mind, and he doesn't seem to have any sort of theological conclusions to the debate that he brought up, becoming more and more sinister even behind his cheerful facade. So which is it then? Is he a well-intentioned man who genuinely believes in something and merely wishes to correct the girls into following the one true belief system? Or is he just a man who, after studying and analysing religion for so long in his younger years, and now only wishes to break down the beliefs of others, going to murderous extremes in order to do so? The film itself is also like this. For every big rant and other interpretation Mr. Reed offers, the girls themselves offer a different one back, and there's a lot of scenes that can be read in a variety of different ways despite the evidence presented. There will be spoilers from this point on, so if you really want to go see this movie for yourself and don't want to be spoiled, please just skip to the conclusion now. The ending itself is also very ambiguous. Did Paxton really get saved by Barnes and escaped out the house, managing to find a way to bring justice to what happened? Or did she actually die and everything afterwards is a dying hallucination? Which would make sense considering that Barnes should have bled to death quite quickly after getting her throat cut, and Paxton spends a good chunk of the ending barely able to move because of the stab wound in her stomach, only to be able to run around, crawl through a vent and then escape into the wilderness later. The final scene only adds to the ambiguity, with the butterfly on her hand disappearing after switching shots. Is this a fake butterfly that she's seeing as a side effect of the blood loss, showing that she is still alive? Or is this supposed to show her becoming a butterfly in the next life, a callback to her view on reincarnation earlier? It's up to you to decide what ending is actually happening. Overall, the film is a really great psychological horror, with a well-researched script, great performances, a good use of a small set. The music for the film does a great job of both ramping up the suspense of a thrilling scene as well as help support the defiance of the two protagonists, with the end scene being especially beautiful and slightly haunting. There's a lot of neat little cinematic tricks used throughout the movie, whether it be for horror effect or just to emphasize different emotions, and the film isn't afraid of deconstructing and simultaneously reconstructing something that plays a big part in a lot of people's lives, and I would highly recommend you see this film.
Thanks for watching, lads and lasses. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Sharing always helps, and if you're feeling really generous, please consider my Patreon or YouTube membership. I also have a Twitter and occasionally I do live streams. But most of all, I just hope you had a great day and hopefully I will see you in the next video.